Things are going pretty poorly for Elon Musk. We see Tesla sales around the world plummet, and that is also exactly what Tesla's stock price is doing, at the same time as Elon is kind of getting boxed out of his role in the White House. And as you would expect for someone as absurd and insane and really angry as Elon Musk, he's not reacting appropriately. And it's not just him, it is the people who surround Elon Musk and the people who he now has control over as the co-president. And that is why we have seen so many arrests and so much intimidation of those protesting Elon Musk. And that happened right here in New York City in a really scary and disgusting display that we are going to get into. But before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video. And if you haven't already and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button. It goes a long way and it really does mean a lot to me. Now, before we get into this story of Elon going after people protesting him, who he thinks are criminals, I want to hear Jasmine Crockett make a really great point on who MAGA should actually be focused on.
Where the mayors of 4 so-called sanctuary cities were grilled. I want to play a very quick bit of something that you definitely had to share during that hearing. Take a listen.
Have any of you been made aware of any immigrant that has had 34 felony convictions that has still been able to roam around in your cities? Anyone?
No, ma'am.
I mean, Congresswoman, it's true. I just talked about the hypocrisy from the GOP. They're so quick to want to round up people on the streets. They don't really even bother to care. If they look brown or black or whatever, it's okay. But in this instance, you do have a 34 felony convicted felon that lives in the Oval Office. If they need the address, I'm happy to give it to them. But what is going on here in terms of trying to kind of exact some type of pressure and a pound of flesh out of these mayors?
Yeah, so first of all, shout out to all the mayors, and I am saying all the mayors. It was definitely interesting to listen to the mayor of New York, but nevertheless, I will say that the mayors as a whole, they really did kind of stand their ground against what they were attempting to do to them. And so I really do applaud them. They were coming up with baseless statistics on crime, and literally they brought the mayor of Boston, Mayor Wu, who is absolutely ranked as the safest large city in the country, and they were trying to lecture her on crime and immigrants. It was absolutely insane. And so that was why I brought out the hypocrisy, and to keep them from trying to come after me and say, oh, I'm engaging in personalities by talking about Trump, I did not mention his name. So I decided that I would work through or around the rules and make sure that I laid out that as they are so outraged by these immigrants and the crime that they're bringing, and not to mention city law enforcement, local law enforcement, they are always going after crime. And they don't say, oh, you committed a murder? Oh, but you're an immigrant? Well, let me let you go, right? So they are always focused on crime. They continue to say things like the illegals and that they broke the law coming in. But what they're not telling the American people is that it is a civil violation. It is not a criminal violation to enter the country illegally. It's not a criminal. It's a crime. It's not a crime, which is why they're so frustrated, because they really want our local law enforcement to go out and round up people when they could be looking out for the murderers and the sexual abusers as well as the robbers. They want them to go and round people up on civil accusations. And so that's why I wanted to point out, don't give me this fake outrage about criminals roaming our streets when you guys stand 10 toes down for the biggest criminal that we have ever seen go into the White House.
The people who claim to back the blue and care about law and order are sicking cops on protesters while pardoning the 1,500 violent criminals who attacked cops. And at the same time as they whine about all this crime across these blue cities that they're not actually accurately speaking about, they don't seem to care about the biggest criminal in the blue city of Washington, D.C., who occupies the White House. A spot-on point from Jasmine Crockett, as always, about what MAGA really does, in fact, care about. And like I said, Elon Musk does, in fact, care about intimidating anyone who tries to oppose him. And that is why we saw mass arrests of peaceful protesters in New York City protesting Tesla. And I want to take a look at some of those clips right here.
Cybertruck.
Thank God the police are here to protect the Cybertruck.
Cybertruck.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 cops to protect one Cybertruck. Amazing.
Nationwide Tesla protests against Elon Musk are escalating. Since President Trump's inauguration, more than a dozen violent or destructive, acts have been directed at Tesla facilities. On Saturday, over 350 protesters convened upon a Tesla showroom in Manhattan as part of a nationwide Tesla takedown protest against billionaire Elon Musk and Donald Trump. After some protests occupied the showroom, 6 arrests were made. 5 were reportedly for disorderly conduct, and 1 was for resisting arrest, obstructing government administration, and violating local law. Protesters from St. Louis to Charlotte, Tucson to Palo Alto, and New York City to Portland are raging against one oblong machine and the guy in charge of it, and a response to Musk's growing power within the Trump administration and that gesture he made at the inauguration. Protests have targeted showrooms, dealerships, charging stations, and the Tesla Cybertruck itself in an attempt to meddle with Musk's finances and highlight how he's meddling with federal spending programs. Nobody voted for Elon Musk, protesters chanted at the West Village showroom in Manhattan on Saturday. Oligarchs out, democracy in. One sign, referencing one of Musk's other companies, SpaceX, read, "Send Musk to Mars now." So, of course, anyone actually breaking the law, anyone actually destroying property, that's not great. But people doing a sit-in, protesting outside, peacefully, carrying signs, good trouble, little public disruption in front of Tesla? Really? We're sicking the cops on those people? And that one video of, 10 police officers just surrounding a Cybertruck? It's absolutely ridiculous. You want to talk about government efficiency? Look at the waste of funds going on there to just protect Elon. And I'm not speculating here that there have been some very specific orders sent down to New York City to make sure Elon's protected, but we do know that Eric Adams is officially in Donald Trump's pocket, and that essentially means he's in Elon's as well. So no, I wouldn't be surprised. But this is what we can expect: the intimidation of people speaking out against this administration, and that includes Elon. And it's the reason Jasmine Crockett has been hitting back against him so hard. And of course, we listened to her earlier, and so I want to check out more from Jasmine Crockett right here.
Yeah, so first of all, hats off to each and every person who literally said that I have some ethics about myself, and therefore I'm just going to resign. That's as it relates to the DOJ as well as every other agency. The scary part about this, though, is that only his lackeys will be left running our governmental agencies, whatever is left of those governmental agencies. When I think about resistance, though, I've had a lot of conversations, and one of the things that keeps coming up is how the former governor of this state was consistently doing daily briefings in the midst of COVID because we couldn't trust anything that Donald Trump was saying about the pandemic.
Right.
So everyone tuned in to really what almost was like the shadow president, the guy that was going to give us facts and not tell us to inject ourselves with bleach.
Right.
I think that we need to do something similar to that, because all they're going to do, him and his new press secretary, is spew lies upon lies upon lies. We need to daily brief the American people. That's number one. Number two, a lot of people are talking about, you know what, we just are looking forward to the midterms. We only need 3 more seats. I'm sure everybody's tired of getting emails, text messages, phone calls, trying to raise money. But the reality is that we have an opportunity right now. I know that a lot of people look at these seats that are available, which there's going to be a total of 3, and they say these are deep red seats. But here's the thing. We saw that in the state of Iowa, they swung a seat 27 points so that a Democrat could win. I say we have nothing to lose. We need to go out. We need to talk to those people that finally understand that the only mission that Donald Trump has is making sure that he can line his pockets, line Elon's pockets, and any other billionaire, all at our expense. It's not just going to be the people you dislike that are going to miss out on their Medicare, Medicaid, or their Social Security. Or down in the state of Florida, where 2 of these seats are, they are talking about getting rid of FEMA. It is time to wake up, and it doesn't mean that you're a Democrat if you vote Democratically.
So this is where I want to get to. Who's the audience to swing some of these states? Is it progressives who understand that their priorities are being crushed, or is it people who voted Republican, to whom you say, you didn't vote for this, did you?
Exactly.
You didn't vote for Elon Musk and a guy named Big Balls to have your documentation.
Yeah.
How does that message get out there in a way that that entire audience hears it?
I think that you're right. Definitely the entire audience. I just don't know how many progressives exist in Matt Gaetz' former district, right? But I do think that there are farmers in that district, farmers that are concerned because they rely upon monies as it relates to USAID
Yep.
and other monies that are now being dismantled. And it means that you may lose your family farm. It may be bought up by a corporate organization. And so I think just having very real conversations, we've seen people who have talked about, well, we don't want you firing the people at the VA, or maybe it's somebody that has to fly all the time and they're concerned because we have a record number of planes literally falling out of the sky because he decided he was going to appoint some guy from Fox to be over transportation. But at the end of the day, there were those that never believed that we could end up with 2 senators in the state of Georgia, and we did. There were those that never believed we could have a Democrat representing Alabama, and in that special election, we did. So I think if there's any point in time that the people should rise up and figure out where should I focus my attention, it's on these special elections, and it's having real conversations on the doors with real people talking about what's really happening and not the lies that they're putting out there.
I want to go back to this idea. There are a lot of people frustrated about where a lot of Democrats are in this mix.
Yeah.
You're out there a lot. We've talked several times. You've got a take on everything that happens. This concept about a daily briefing. It's we've talked about whether we should act more like a parliamentary system here, where the opposition's got a job to do every day, and you see them as often as you see a prime minister. What does that look like? Have you had this conversation with a lot of your colleagues about how this looks?
I've been trying to work through it because I think when we compare it to what was happening in COVID, it was just one subject.
Right.
And for us as Democrats, we like to have experts. We don't just want to talk in mouth, right? And so it's a matter of how do we know what's coming to make sure that we've got the right expert on hands. But I think that it would be great if at least maybe every Friday we have a different attorney general or the same one that talks about the status of the cases, right?
This is our co-president, and we have to hit back against him. We have to call out every action he is taking to enrich himself and try to silence our voices for calling him out. And of course, we are going to do that on this show every single day. And if you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button. You can leave a like on this video. And if you stuck around to the end, you can drop a blue heart in the comments. And until next time, I'll see you soon.